In this lesson, we'll start to model the lens by projecting the front view of the eye shape onto the lens surface. So basically, this is where we left off. I'm in the O5 begin file, and so I'm going to just quickly do a save as here, called O5 end. Say save, just so I don't save over my start file. And so if we go into the reference, you'll see that the 8-base lens is turned on from the reference lens layer. So that's what this is, and we've got all the stuff from the previous lesson there in O4. So I think I just took this eye shape from up here. Ungroup this and just so you can see I do that. So just GRR space to ungroup that. And then I'm going to change, since I want to drag it downward, I'll do it this way. I'll copy, paste it, hit G space, and use my gumball to just drag this guy down here somewhere. Actually, you know what? I didn't even do that. I probably just pulled it out of here. And ungrouped it, pulled it forward, and just made it red. So I knew that that was the one I was projecting. So, and that is also on this front view curve layer inside of O5. So what we want to do is also pick this object and turn off my gumball, which is showing from up here in O3 reference. It's demonstrated by that. So I'm just going to pick this and make a copy of it. So I'm going to right click on the layer I want it to be on and copy object to layer. So now I can turn off O3 reference and collapse that, and O4. I'm going to hit FF space to go to my front view. So most of the time when I'm starting this off, I tend to move this lens. I'm going to turn on my end snap using the move tool with M space from the end and just drag it over 32 millimeters because the average male pupillary distance is 64 millimeters, so half that's 32. And you can kind of just drag it more or less toward the middle of the eye shape. This isn't set in stone, it's just a good place to start. So I just sort of drag it there, and if we go back into perspective with GG, let me hide the O4. I'll leave all that stuff there. What I'll do is pick this, and really quickly just to talk about the lens. So if I shade with V space, you see I've got a surface and some lines here. So if I ungroup that, this piece is what I call the perpendiculator because it helps you orient the lens and orient a plane perpendicular to the apex of the lens. So just so you know what that is, and we'll show you that in a second, or actually probably in the next lesson. So I'm going to group that back. So I'm just going to pick this and move it back, usually somewhere inside the frame here. Oh, I just copied it. Okay. So now just that it's behind the lens. So what I want to do is come to my front view. And for now, I can hide my frame curves from the last lesson. What I want to do is project this eye shape, which has just a few, not too many points on it, onto this eye shape. So just to go over this, I didn't learn this for a long time about the project loose option, but if I change my construction plane to the front by hitting CF space, and this is a planar curve, so it wouldn't really matter which way my construction plane was, but I tend to try to make my construction plane perpendicular to what I'm projecting just to make sure that everything goes as planned. So, and if I just type project and pick this surface and hit the space bar, I get my super awesome projection, but if I turn my points on, we'll see that I have a lot of points. Something like 160, which is way too many to ever edit later on in life. So the way to get around that is to do the following. We'll just pick that and delete it. We'll pick this curve and type project, and you'll notice in the options if you click on loose and say yes, and now pick your surface and hit the space bar or right click for enter, you'll see that you've got the basically the same number of points. So basically all it did was took these points and just draped them up against this surface. And we'll see why that's useful in just a second. And also actually to show some of the limited history that Rhino does have, I'll delete that curve and I'm going to come down and click on record history. I'm going to type project. I'm going to pick this curve and I'm going to click loose and I'm going to click this. Oh, hit enter and then I'm going to pick the surface. Okay. So now let's see what happens. So if I just use my gumball for this. So if I move my lens over, you'll see that the curve, you can see better in top view. The curve just keeps snapping back to it. I got to be careful else it'll start to miss it, in which case I'll probably have to reproject it, which I don't really feel like doing. So, but you can see that this is how history works. It just kind of updates. So what I'm going to do is to get this back in place, I'm going to turn my grid snap on, draw a line over 32, and then I'm going to use the move tool to drag this over to the end. And that what I just did right there is something I do pretty constantly to position things if I know I need them in a certain place. So for this lens, the thing that most people get wrong is that they don't understand that a lens has, when a lens is in a frame, it's not just sitting looking straight forward like this. It's typically rotated some like that. And it's also, from the side view, it's typically rotated some like that. And all that doesn't really change really what this curve is, but it does and it doesn't is the thing. So what we're going to do, I'm just going to undo both of those rotations, and I'm going to come in here and just rotate, I think, 15 degrees. Or actually, sorry, I'm going to rotate from here. Rotate from the end, 15. And also I'm going to rotate hit CR to change my construction plane to the right view. So I'm going to rotate from here another, say, 10 degrees. You just type 10. So typically, which it looks a little extreme, so I'm going to maybe rotate that -3. Okay. So overall, that was a total rotation of 7 from the side view. So basically what this accounts for is the fact that when you look forward, you're actually looking down at about 6 degrees. So I tend to just go in and rotate this just some. It doesn't matter what you start off with because it will never be right on the first try anyway. So just usually for a frame like this, 10 to 15 degrees is good in a top view, and maybe 6 to 10 degrees is good from the side view to get your lens rotations. So now that we have this curve on here, we've still got our really lightweight number of points, which is great. And in the next lesson, what we're going to do is figure out how to actually measure that lens, sort of like in one of those images that we looked at the very beginning of the project.